This question was asked by this fellow practitioner. Is it possible for someone who follows another religion to cultivate a pure and sincere mind? Can they be liberated from the 6 realms of rebirth? Those who believe in other religions can indeed attain a mind of purity and sincerity. However, it is very difficult for them to transcend the 6 realms. Why is it so hard? The Buddha explained this quite clearly in the sutras. It is because they have not let go of the notion of self. As long as the sense of I remains, as long as there is even a trace of selfishness and self-interest, then, although the mind may be calm and sincere, it is not truly pure. Even within sincerity, there are many levels. If one has not reached a certain depth of purity and sincerity, liberation is impossible. Through diligent practice, one may indeed be reborn in the heavenly realms. By cultivating purity and sincerity, one could ascend to the form realms, the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or 4th dhyana heavens. If the mind becomes even more refined and tranquil, one may reach the formless heavens. But can such a practitioner truly transcend the 6 realms of rebirth? Certainly not. If liberation could be achieved through that alone, then Shakyamuni Buddha would not have needed to appear in this world. Why would he come if we could accomplish it ourselves? The very reason the Buddha descended into this world was because sentient beings longed to escape the 6 realms, yet lacked the means to do so. Thus, he came out of compassion to guide and assist us. Many religions can indeed explain the principles of the universe and human life in a reasonable way. They can express what is so. However, they cannot fully explain why it is so. If you study the scriptures and doctrines of other faiths, even briefly, you will come to understand this distinction. The second one he asks, how can we effectively subdue our afflictions? The very fact that you ask this question shows that you truly wish to overcome your afflictions. This intention is good. It is a sign of right mindfulness, the beginning of awakening. Where do afflictions come from? They arise from selfishness and self-interest. They come from our constant fear of gain and loss. If you can let go of selfishness and stop thinking only of yourself, and from now on dedicate every thought to the well-being of others, your afflictions will naturally decrease. When personal gain and loss no longer matter, inner peace arises on its own. In this world, if we live wholeheartedly for the benefit of society and all beings, our minds will be light and joyful. For example, layman Li Mo Yuan here is constantly busy helping others, yet he feels no affliction at all. Why? Because everything he does is for others, not for himself. When things go well, everyone benefits. That brings joy. If things don't succeed, he still feels no regret because he has already given his best. That kind of life is truly happy. In Singapore, there is also a woman who is 101 years old, though she insists she is a 101-year-old young lady. Throughout her entire life, she has devoted herself to social welfare, serving the elderly, the sick, and the poor. Even now, at 101, she continues her work every day, full of energy and joy. She never lives for herself, and thus she has no afflictions. Her life is filled with happiness. She often says, "Heaven helps me." Now, she recites Amitabha Buddha's name and vows to be reborn in the Pure Land. Even if she does not go to the Western Pure Land, she will surely be reborn in the heavenly realms. The key to subduing afflictions lies in transforming our mindset. In the past, everything we did was for ourselves. From now on, let everything we do be for the sake of all beings. This fellow practitioner is from Kaohsiung. We are ordinary beings, yet we have the rare good fortune to encounter a great teacher. In our practice of learning and cultivating the Buddha's teachings, can we use a pure and joyful heart as our method of cultivation? Will this make the path to Buddhahood quicker and more remarkable? A pure and joyful heart is indeed the mind of a Buddha. It is extremely rare, and what makes it rare is its purity. Purity means the mind is completely free from contamination. In daily life, if we are not tainted by the desire for fame and profit, and not disturbed by the temptations of the 5 desires and the 6 sense objects, then our mind is pure. When the mind is pure, it naturally becomes joyful. This is a correct method of cultivation. However, purity and equality are inseparable. They are one, not two. If you do not understand equality, your mind will never be truly pure, because distinctions of superiority and inferiority will still arise. Purity is found within equality, and equality is complete within purity. And when both are present, true joy naturally appears. This is what the Buddha means by following conditions without clinging to them. A mind that follows conditions is pure and equal. A mind that clings to conditions becomes impure and discriminating. Where do we cultivate this? In our everyday life, in eating, dressing, and daily routines. No matter what food we eat, we should accept it with the same joy, without criticism or preference. If you say, "This tastes good," and "that doesn't," your mind is not pure, not equal, and you will not experience true joy. When your joy depends on good taste, and your displeasure arises from bad taste, your joy is mixed with aversion, and that kind of joy cannot lead to realization. Toward all people, all matters, and all things, we must maintain equality, no discrimination, no attachment, not even the slightest trace of defilement. If you can cultivate in this way, your practice in this very lifetime will surely lead to accomplishment. This fellow practitioner asked 2 questions. When I'm ill, I recite the Buddha's name very diligently, but my mind cannot settle down. Medicine doesn't help, and whenever anxiety arises, I even have thoughts of suicide. What should I do? Please, Master, compassionately guide me. I sincerely advise you under no circumstances should you commit suicide. Once you take your own life, the trouble that follows will be immense. You must understand, suicide is a grave karmic offense, not a path to liberation. If suicide could bring liberation, then why would Shakyamuni Buddha need to appear in this world and go through so much hardship to teach us? If ending one's life truly solved everything, wouldn't that have been the simplest solution? But suicide does not end suffering, it only makes it worse. In the human world, people often say that one who commits suicide must find a substitute before being able to reincarnate again. Just think how troublesome that is. If a substitute cannot be found, one cannot even enter the cycle of rebirth. Moreover, the pain of suicide is severe in the intermediate state after death, the bardo. The spirit will repeatedly relive the exact scene of its suicide over and over again at certain intervals. The consciousness of one who dies by suicide continually reenacts that painful act. Can you imagine how terrible that is? We must clearly understand this truth. Feeling that life is unbearably painful is the karmic retribution of many past unwholesome deeds. The way to change this is to cease all evil and cultivate all good. If you don't know how to begin, I strongly recommend reading Liao Fan's 4 Lessons. Read it many times, it is an excellent guide. I often advise beginners to read it 300 times, once a day, every day, for an entire year.
一天念一遍呢，足足念它1年。
Only then will its teachings truly take root in your mind.
你才真正能懂得
You will deeply understand the law of cause and effect, and learn how to change your own destiny.
改变你的命运。
The Venerable Master Chin Kung spent his entire life promoting this book. Why?
我在，我们要多想想啊。
Because it truly has the power to save people and even transform the fate of our world today.
好的指导。
Its reasoning and examples are not difficult to understand. Ordinary people can grasp and apply them easily.
懂，都能够体会。
Its teachings on how to conduct oneself and deal with others are practical and clear.
处事待人接物，也都能做得到。
This book gathers the essential wisdom of both worldly and transcendental teachings. We should study it earnestly.
里面举的例子尤其是多。
You mentioned that while ill, you recite the Buddha's name diligently, yet your mind cannot become calm. That is not true diligence. Genuine diligence comes from a mind that is pure and peaceful. When medicine doesn't work, it shows that you lack faith in the medicine and in the doctor.
没信心。
If you lack faith even in such things, how could you have true faith in the Buddha? Faith is the key. The Buddha taught, all phenomena arise from the mind. Everything worldly or beyond, is born from the thoughts of the mind. This principle is profound, but it is absolutely true.
事法都是从心想生的。
The second question, when the Buddha emits light, what color is it exactly?
到底是什么色？
Is it red, golden, or some other color?
等等色。那往
And when we're reborn into the Pure Land, what color light do we actually see?
跟佛
Please, Master, kindly explain. The light radiated by the Buddha is perfect and complete. In the Sutra of the Earth Store Bodhisattva, it begins by saying that the Buddha emits a great cloud of radiant light.
光明云。
As for what color one may actually see, that depends on each person's nature, karma, and level of realization.
机缘不相同。所以你每一个
Thus, everyone's vision of the Buddha's form and light will differ.
不一样，见到佛的光明不一样。
Why?
为什么呢？心性
Because each person's mind and thoughts are different and, as the Buddha said, all phenomena arise from the mind.
这个
In 1982, Venerable Shengyi from Lantau Island in Hong Kong made his first pilgrimage to Mount Putuo in China.
香港大屿山的圣业法师第一次回到祖国，到普陀山朝圣。
He was accompanied by 2 other monks. At the Chao Yin cave, they bowed in reverence to Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva for half an hour, and then the Bodhisattva manifested before them.
观音菩萨示现，
The 3 were overjoyed. Afterward, they asked one another what they had seen.
大家问观音菩萨示现，你们看到没有？是看到了，那个也看到了。你看到是什么样子？
Venerable Shengyi saw a golden Avalokiteshvara, wearing a golden Vairocana crown and holding a monk's staff, resembling Earth Store Bodhisattva.
手上拿着锡杖。
The second monk saw the white-robed Avalokiteshvara, just as depicted in paintings.
跟我们一般这个画像里头这个白衣观音一样，穿的是白衣服，现在是这个像。
The third monk saw the Bodhisattva in the form of a Buddhist monk, also holding a staff.
出家和尚像也是拿着一支这个锡杖。
Each saw a different manifestation, and each saw a different light.
见到的光也不一样。
Therefore, there is no fixed color or form to the Buddha's light.
什么样的光？
At the moment of death, when you see Amitabha Buddha, you will recognize him clearly and unmistakably that experience is real, not imagined. If, at that time, you see any other Buddha or Bodhisattva appearing to receive you, do not follow them. Only when Amitabha himself comes should you go with him.
我来接引呢，你才能够跟他去。
And when that moment comes, you will naturally recognize him. No one can describe it to you beforehand.
先告诉你了。
If I were to tell you now what he looks like, your mind would cling to that image, and such attachment would actually hinder your rebirth in the Pure Land.
那就麻烦。
So, simply keep your faith pure and sincere. When the time comes, the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas will bless you, and you will know clearly, without any confusion.
很明白，不会有错误。今天就讲到此。
There are still many more questions, but our time today is up. Thank you, everyone.